So, gaslighting is the term most commonly used to describe a gaslighter who is trying to get you to doubt your own feelings, doubt your own ears, doubt your own eyes, doubt your own perceptions, doubt everything about who you are, where you've been, what you've done, where they've been, what they've done, doubt everything about your reality and live life on their terms. There's plenty of different gaslighting phrases they will use to get away with their behaviour, to distract you from the truth. When it comes to gaslighters and gaslighting, they can gaslight your feelings. They can gaslight your perception. They can even gaslight the reality of the home that you live in. They can start moving things and then claiming that they wasn't the one that moved them. Some do take it to the extreme, and all gaslighting is extreme as it is psychological manipulation of your mind. This video is just a few gaslighting phrases that they will say to distract you from the reality of what has happened. So a narcissistic person will happily promise to do something with you or do something for you in order to get you to do something with them or do something for them first. Only once they've got their need met, once they've got what they wanted from you, they will fail to deliver on that promise that they once made to you. Yet they're not going to take responsibility for this because they believe themselves to be perfect. They don't make mistakes. They don't do anything wrong. And they want to keep you where they want you. So when you go and ask them about that promise that they made to you, they can just turn around and try to gaslight your reality by stating, "I never said that." Which, when you know full well that somebody said something and then they turn around and claim that they never said that, it's going to cause feelings of frustration and anger and resentment. And you might then react towards them, to which you're in the zone of reactive abuse. You might start screaming and shouting at them, trying to get them to remember what they said, which they've got no interest in remembering it. Otherwise they wouldn't turn around and say, "I never said that." They've got a self-interest in getting away with it. So as soon as you start shouting at them, they're going to turn around and say, "I don't want to talk to you in a state like this. Look at you. What's your problem? Have you had a bad day?" To wind you up all the more, to get you going. The more they get you going, the more you feel like you're the bad person and the more they keep control over you. It's the same as when, or it's very similar as to when something happens that you know happens, you saw it with your own eyes, they did something that is immoral, and you might turn around and say, "What did you do that for?" And they're going to turn around and say, "I never did that. That wasn't me. That never happened." Even though you saw it with your own eyes, you saw what they did to somebody, you saw that it was wrong. Yet they're going to deny all knowledge because they don't want to be held accountable for their behaviour. They don't want to take responsibility for their behaviour. They're looking to psychologically manipulate you so they can get away with their behaviour. Again, the more you try to force your point with them, the further they're going to take you down the rabbit hole of their gaslighting and their lies and their deception, to the point where you're the one that's left feeling like you can't quite work out what's happening anymore, like you're the one that needs some help, which a narcissistic person will happily tell you that you're the one that needs help, to back up how they're making you feel. Or when they do something to hurt you and you call them out on it, and they just turn around and say, well, if you hadn't. To get the conversation away from themselves and onto you, to get you defending and explaining yourself to them so they don't have to defend and explain themselves to you. And it's a form of gaslighting your reality, because they're taking a situation and they're taking the situation out of context by bringing in something that you perhaps didn't even do, so they don't have to deal with what they have done to you. They can just turn around and say, deal with it, which is very provoking of the negative emotions such as anger and resentment. And you can find yourself going at them to try and get a conversation, get that communication, when you have to take a step back and recognize that you're turning into somebody you don't like around them, and you're never going to get that conversation from them because they're too busy in all the manipulation of you. And the more you try, the more they turn everything against you. The more you question if you're to blame, the more you question if you're the narcissistic one. And the very fact you're questioning those things usually means you're not. Narcissistic people do not take responsibility for their behaviour, even when it's reactive. They always find somebody else to blame. When they do something to punish you, narcissistic people are incredibly envious people. If they don't get their own way, they will go all out to punish you in some way. And when they punish you, and you try to speak about this to them, they turn around and say, it wasn't that bad. They're downplaying their abusive behaviour towards you to distract you from what they're doing to you. Or it doesn't happen very often. If you hadn't, when they turn around and claim, it was your fault. You pushed my buttons. You wound me up. You know what I'm like. We know ourselves that when somebody is saying to us that never happened, that we know did happen, they're pushing our buttons, and we can react, and we can react badly towards them. Therefore, when they turn around to us and claim it wasn't that bad, it doesn't happen very often, you wound me up, you know what I'm like, we stand back and evaluate the situation in its entirety and question ourselves and not them. And it's the narcissist double standards. They're allowed to push your buttons. You're not allowed to react. And if you do, you've got to forever make it up to them. You don't even have to push their buttons, but they're going to claim that you have pushed their buttons, and they're going to punish you, and you're going to have to spend the entire eternity making it up to them. To a narcissist, it's all about them. You must always serve them. You must always give them. You must always provide for them. You must always forgive them, but they will never forgive you. They can simply just turn around and say, stop overreacting to any given situation. Again, downplaying the situation by exaggerating your reactions, when usually your reactions are actually quite tame in comparison to what the narcissist has done to you, is doing to you, or is putting you through. Narcissistic people know how to push you past breaking point, to the point where you will beg and plead with them to communicate with you or to stop whatever it is they're doing to you, and they will push you past your limits until you snap, and then they will stand back and claim that you're the crazy one, with that glint in their eye and their smirk on their face. Which is another one, when they're not getting their own way, or when you're calling them out, or when you're seeing through their lies, they're just going to turn around and accuse you of being the crazy one, so that you question your own sanity and not their behaviour. You're imagining things when you know full well they've done something, or they haven't done something, or whatever it is, and you either heard it or you saw it, you witnessed it, and you go and speak to them about it and they just turn around and say, you're imagining things. That wasn't me. Nothing to do with me. It's your imagination again. You're going crazy. The gaslighting drives you crazy. You're not going crazy. You're being driven crazy. You'll be driven to have those feelings of frustration and anger and resentment and even bitterness. You can't go anywhere with those feelings with that person because they're using those feelings against you to further alienate you from your reality so that they can get away with the things they're doing to you. When it comes to a narcissistic person, the best way to make a narcissist see anything is to stop supplying them with anything. Walk away for your own sanity and your own safety. Don't pre-warn them for your own safety. And go no contact. If you can't go no contact, it needs to be limited contact and grey rock. However, when they're no longer getting the supply they need from you, that hurts them. They're never going to see your point of view. Doesn't matter how many times you try and explain things to them. The more you do for them, the more they will expect from you. And the more they will punish you when you don't do for them. The less you do for them, the sooner they're going to leave you alone and unfortunately find a new source of supply. You cannot win with those who are willing to gaslight your reality. The only thing you can do is walk away and leave them to go and live their life while you go and live yours. If anyone has any other phrases a narcissistic person uses to gaslight your reality, please do add those into the comments for those reading through to let them know they're not alone in this and they're not going crazy. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support of the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.